Hey guys, Fox here, and today it's time to do the first in-depth review of the United Football League. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm going to start by real quick. Essentially, in-depth review is where I go over a certain series of events that essentially culminate in something crazy. I've done this 3 times in the first year of the USFL. I did this 1 time last year, and now we are bringing it back for the San Antonio Brahmas scoring 12 points in 55 seconds. Or, let me phrase that better, less than 55 seconds. This was a crazy ending to a game that for a while looked like a blowout, but wow, the ending was crazy. So without further ado, let's just get right on into it with the background information before we start looking at the plays. Now, the first thing to note is the fact that this was a game the Brahmas should not have even been in. The fact is the Brahmas played very undisciplined football and ended up having almost 150 yards in penalties. Now, they had 14 different penalties for 142 yards, which was absolutely insane. A ton more than the 62 yards the Showboats had. But the reason they were able to stay in this game was basically just because of the red zone. The red zone for the Showboats was pretty terrible. They ended up basically failing on almost every single attempt. And the worst one was when they, with 9 minutes left, ended up fumbling the ball at a almost guaranteed touchdown position, and the fumble ended up having them kick another field goal to get up to 19 points. If it wasn't for the fact they were stuck having to kick 3 very, very short field goals and instead had gotten touchdowns, this game would have been out of reach. But because of that, the Brahmas were able to actually compete in this game and actually stay in it and put up a really good showing. So let's get into how they actually pulled off that really good showing. Now, the first play we're going to start off with is the touchdown that essentially showed that they had some fight left in them. The score is 19-8 Memphis. There is less than a minute left. As you can see, there is exactly 54 seconds left on the clock before we start this play. And this is just a very simple play. At the end of the day, they decided to go to a pass play, and it was a very simple one. And simply put, it was a great catch. There was a flag on the play as well. John Shea Kirkland did make the great catch, but the issue was the flag on the field. This created a lot of confusion that really didn't make sense, in all honesty. The fact is it was pretty simple, but for some reason the officiating crew, Wade Phillips, didn't understand it. Because the fact it was called on the play, essentially Wade had to decline the penalty to make it to where the touchdown stood. Wade thought that it meant that because it happened during a touchdown play, they would accept it but get it on the extra point try. But instead, it didn't, so they kept the touchdown but then had to go for the extra point normally. Now, this is where the game looked to be out of reach for the San Antonio because of poor coaching. This was a terrible decision to go for 3. In this situation, there is no reason to do that. This is not the same as Anthony Beck going for 1 last week. This is even worse. This is a position where instead of going from the 5, which is, a very short distance compared to the 10, to get the 2-point conversion to make it a field goal, a tie game, they're going for 3. This, yes, is a good idea if you want to win the game, but at the same time, getting a 3-point conversion is a lot harder than getting a 2-point conversion. So instead of taking the tie, essentially, with a field goal, Wade decided to do the ballsy move, which is get a play that, if you get it, allows a field goal to win the game. This is a very poor coached move. This is something I did not expect to see from Wade Phillips, and unpredictably, it failed. Now, yes, this was incredible defense by the Showboats. This was a cornerback actually, understanding what to do, got in front of the ball, and ended up why it fell incomplete. So because of that, the Brahmas are now stuck down 5. They need a touchdown. At that point, it looked like there was no way they were going to do it. But then they decided to do the 4th and 12. For those of you who are NFL fans who are new to this, essentially, instead of doing an onside kick, you have the option to do a 4th and 12 play to get the ball back and continue driving. It's a play that happens, at your own 28-yard line, and if you get it, you get to keep driving. If you don't get it, wherever the ball stops is where the opposing team gets the ball. And this is pretty wild. A lot of people are kind of shocked at this one because, as you can see, it's another pass play, and this is one that is just a very solid play to watch. Garbers ends up, taking the snap and is able to just throw a really nice pass, which maybe not should have been called a first down. There was not even any review on this. There was no anything like that. Granted, there's no challenge at this point and all that. And yes, forward progress makes it look like it probably was a first down, but the fact that they didn't even look at it or really show a replay of it is pretty questionable. But the point is, they got the first down by the officials. They didn't overturn it. So we're good. We get to keep it up there, and now we get to do the next play. So now after getting that conversion, they have to go at a normal 1st and 10 at the 35 seconds left. And Garbers throws another great pass in the middle of the field, and it's a 15-yard pass to get them to the 45-yard line. So at this point, we're starting to see some really great driving. And this next play is where the Showboats really take a turn for the worst. Naturally, after spiking the ball, the Brahmas now are at 2nd and 10 with about 24 seconds left. And this is pretty ugly. Garbers once again targets the middle of the field, and instead of being tackled while having 3 defenders around him, you're able to just run around everybody. This was pretty bad all in all. Stevenson basically just didn't even have to dodge them. The Showboats just kind of didn't target him. It's like they were all trying to think who's going to tackle him. It allowed him to get out of bounds to stop the clock, and was a huge play for the Brahmas because it also gained him some extra yardage that he would not have gotten, and this time ended up being very crucial. So this is a horrid play by the Showboats, and it was a bad one. Then another spike, and now it's 2nd and 10 with 13 seconds left. Very high pressure moment. This is where you need a touchdown. And what happens? Garbers gets the pass and throws it right to the right out, and boom, almost a 10-yard play. Out of bounds. They get another crack at the end zone. 8 seconds left. We're 3rd and 1 now. And Garbers gets the snap and then darts to the right side, and then a beautiful crossbody pass to the end zone. Touchdown. At this point, it's basically game over. Coach Flip's facial expression basically says it all. This was a terrible way to go out. This was really bad. I mean, there was no way that they should have been able to get this drive, but Cody Latimer was able to get that receiving TD. Garber was able to make a great throw. The pressure did not get to him. It almost did, and he ended up being pretty wide open in the end zone for the touchdown. And this is where we did see a smart coaching decision. Now, instead of doing something stupid like going for 2 extra points here, Coach Phillips decides to do a very smart move. He puts his team back at the 10-yard line, and instead of doing a play, kneels the ball. This is one where some people might be confused about this, but this was a very smart decision. I know some people are saying, oh, the odds. The whole point of this is that in the UFL, if the opposing team is to score, whether it be a pick six, a fumble recovery, you get as many points as you go for. So because it's 2019, if you go for the 1 point, and let's say you fumble the ball, a Showboats defender picks it up and runs down the field, they get 1 point, it's a tie game. And the same goes naturally for the other stuff. So instead of risking that, they just decide to simply kneel the ball. This is great coaching. This is making sure you don't have anything bad happen. This was a great call, and because of this, it essentially eliminated almost any shot for them to lose the game. On the kickoff, it was a squib kick, got kneeled immediately with 2 seconds left. And then Case, once again, mishandles the ball, basically fumbles it twice, and that's the game. So yes, the ending was pretty wild. The fact is the game the Brahmas were not in basically at all, but thanks to key mistakes by the Showboats as well as great goal line stands by the Brahmas defense, they were able to hang around this. And this is a big point of the whole way the UFL is structured. This game proves that the UFL is about high-stakes football. It is about making the most of your opportunities. You have a max amount of points of 9 to score from a touchdown, with the touchdown and the 3-point conversion. And at worst, a touchdown is still 6 points. The Showboats could not capitalize on their great drives. The Showboats were the better team this day. Their offense was the more consistent offense, except at the red zone. That is where they got beat, and that is why they lost this game. Yes, the open field missed tackle was horrid on the Brahmas' final drive, but there's a lot of that final drive the Showboats should have done better. That's just the big one. But in the end, the Brahmas were able to get the W and win this game to go to 2-0 and make the Showboats go to 1-1. This was a very entertaining game at the end of it, and was pretty crazy. But yes, the Brahmas were able to get the W. And so that'll do it for this in-depth review. This has been ZomFox. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Especially, let me know down below if you also like these in-depth reviews, as I haven't done one of these in a while. So if you still like this, make sure to let me know down there. And again, we're like really close to 700 subscribers. In fact, by the time this is posted, we might have actually hit it. So if we did, thank you. If not, hopefully we'll hit it after this video. And as always, have a great night.